Hello, welcome to the Monkey Nut Punch podcast, coming to you live from a place called Wales, where I am currently residing after seeing Dobby's grave. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast, and with me is Keith. Hello, Keith.
Hello, Gareth. How's the sheep?
I haven't bothered any sheep when I've been up here, all right? That's for the locals. They're the sheep botherers. But I did see Dobby's grave because my wife's like, "Oh, Dobby's grave's around the corner." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So we drove over to the beach where they filmed Dobby copping it and then being buried.
Did you make the grave, or has somebody sort of made it and put it?
No, it's been there since they filmed. It's actually an environmental hazard because people leave socks and painted stones there, and it doesn't help the wildlife.
Nice. So, I haven't realised.
You didn't realise genuine.
Cool. No, I thought you might have made it.
No, I haven't got the patience or the inclination to do that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah. Did you like my picture where I was doing the Grant Gustin thing?
Well, yeah. I mean, you were funny. Grant Gustin's just a.
I know he is. Surprising he's not a Hollywood star.
Yeah, considering how he acts, yeah, I would agree. He's yes, totally agree with you. But no, it was funny. For the people on the podcast and the video, Gareth sent me a picture going like this over the grave, and Grant Gustin did one when they were filming the death of Oliver Queen. Spoilers. Not really dead. But well, you know, some people might have still not watched it. I don't. But yeah, no, it was funny. I also noticed you were wearing green, Gareth.
Was I?
Yeah, you're wearing slithering green. Yeah, you had your green hoodie on.
I had my green hoodie on, and I also had my green Slytherin top on too, which I'm wearing at the moment.
Yes, I thought you might be. It did make me giggle that. Yes, Bellatrix would have been proud.
Dude, yes. Sorry, I just remember the story of what's his mush? Who's the one who played Gilroy Lockhart? Who's married to Emma Thompson?
Oh, Kenneth
Branagh. Thank you.
Kenneth Branagh, yeah.
He was married to Emma Thompson, but he was shagging what's the mush while they were filming Harry Potter.
Who?
The one who plays Bellatrix Strange.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's juicy. Helen Bonham Carter.
Yes, thank you.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Apparently,
fair enough.
Big scandal thing. I have to check into that to make sure I'm right, because I'm sure that's what I was told. But it's like, oh, that's interesting. It's one of those things you have to just. I'll do a follow up just to make sure I'm right. So this week I watched the Tetris film. After you said watch the Tetris film, I was planning on watching the Tetris film because there's a lady at work called Jane who watched the Tetris film, but she got to watch it in Everyman Cinema because Apple did a little promotional thing, which was nice. So she got like free popcorn and all and stuff, and she was nice because the people next to her didn't turn up, so she got to pinch all their stuff too. So she watched that. She enjoyed that. I was telling because she was telling me before she went. He needs to involve Robert Maxwell and end up with him dying mysteriously after stealing the pension fund. Yeah, that was interesting. That's not a spoiler warning. That's history. That's not a spoiler warning. That's actual history. So I watched Tetris. I watched one last week called Severance, which I went through. My brother thinks it's deeper than I think it is. I need to talk to him about it, but I need to see what your opinion is too.
Yeah, I'm 6 episodes in, so I did my homework. I have started watching it in between other things because I was watching The Night Agent on Netflix. I watched all of that. It was all right actually. It was it was just forgettable TV, but that's got a second season, which is not too bad.
The Night Agent.
Yeah, it's forgettable. It's just a conspiracy thing on TV, but beautiful people. Quite.
Can't tell. It's me.
I'll give the conspiracy. The one thing The one thing I will say about it is the conspiracy, the people that are conducting the
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work.
What's the matter? What's happened? Oh, Gareth is suffering from internet.
Shit.
Can you switch to your phone? Or have you got dodgy signal?
Here's the funny thing is, that's not. It might not be this way. I'm going to try and switch to my phone. Right, let's try and sort this out. So, you just do what you do. Talk about Star Wars. talk about. That's all you ever do. You always do. You somehow manage to detract onto Star Wars.
Well, I'm always going to be a Star Wars fan, right? And there is Star Wars on at the moment. But it is funny how the thing that I get most excited about right now is not Star Wars, but Star Trek. And The Mandalorian has been bad. And they pissed away 2 years. I mean, you had the second season of Mandalorian finishing on quite a high with a lot of people very, very excited. Then you did this stupid, dumbass fucking thing by creating Boba Fett and then putting half the Mandalorian story into that. So for the people who didn't watch Mandalorian, then came back to season 3 of the Mandalorian 2.5 years later, you've got to wonder. Oh, he's cutting me off the stream again. So he's taking me off the stream.
I didn't take you off stream.
It took me.
I've tried my phone now. See if that works any better.
It was mad. And yeah, then we've had 4 terrible episodes of The Mandalorian. It's been shit. We had a good one last week. Well, it was exciting. I wouldn't say it was great, and I'm really not that fussed about it. I mean, the only good thing about it was seeing Zeb from Rebels, who they blew their entire bloody special effects budget on. I mean, people slate Marvel, and like all these YouTubers go, "Oh, the special effects are great in The Mandalorian." No, they're fucking not. Go and watch the episode the week before. It was goddamn terrible. I mean, I have seen better special effects in 1998 bloody Star Trek than I have in this. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I was saying The Night Agent's quite good on Netflix. The bad guys actually are a bit more 3-dimensional, which is interesting. So worth a watch if you just want to, kill some time.
Okay. All right. So Star Wars. Right. So I just want to point. Did you see the thing with Baby Yoda does the backflip over the Mandalorian kid?
Yes.
That's genuine. Yes. That wasn't an April Fool's joke.
That is genuine. Yes.
Okay. I'm definitely not watching it.
Yep. That episode was terrible. That episode was terrible. I mean, it's been really bad. I'm not sugarcoating it. It's been really bad. It's worth seeing Zeb. Yeah, just watch the Zeb clip on YouTube just to see him in live action. That was pretty cool, and that had some member berries. Yeah, it's been terrible. I mean, it's just funny how I'm excited for Star Trek Picard. Who would have fucking predicted that a few weeks ago or months ago?
I'll be honest. I've been watching bloody German science fiction, so who predict that too?
I could have predicted that after you watched Dark and made me watch it, which was good. I'll give you that. That was good.
Yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, Bilford's in the chat. He sent an email. I was going to email him back, but I was a bit worried that it might come across a bit flamey if I didn't talk out loud, if that made any sense. Mm-hmm. So Bilfer, he's still got his classic one there of the woman with a head and the alligator's gob. I don't know what that is. He wrote about the Trojan horse was successful. Paramount swallowed poison like candy. Alex Kurtzman renewed to 2030. Terry Matalas Picard's season 3 was stolen by Alex Kurtzman. Now, I agree with the last bit. If it's a success, Alex Kurtzman's going to steal the success. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. But this is the thing. It was renewed to 2026 back in 2021. And I remember because we reported on this, and I'm a bit annoyed because I watched Midnight's Edge, and they reported on this too. I'm trying to find the bloody story, but I can't access them.
The last Midnight's video, the guy talked about this in the last Midnight's Edge video. He did speculate, but it is rumor that it went to 2013. They indicate it. Here's the thing, right? We have got new seasons of Lower Decks, which is just shit. And we've got a third season announced of Strange New Worlds, and we've got this new Star Trek Academy series, which in fairness they've been trying to make. But if you read the bump that they released around this series, it is clearly set to follow on from Discovery, which means the lead character is going to be Tilly.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I am not kidding. You read this. It's like, after years of being closed, Starfleet Academy reopens its door to a diverse set of characters. That is the exact language.
Do you know what I heard? Do you know what I heard? Hogwarts in space.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, we're going to have time crystals, obviously. Time crystals. This is a follow-on from Discovery. It is going to fucking crash and burn. No one is going to watch this shit. I do not understand what's going on at Paramount. Here's the thing, right? There is persistent rumors, but I don't know if it's people wanting it to be true versus that Metalis is in talks, right? There's also rumors they haven't got any money and yet they've renewed things. Now, I can understand Strange New Worlds because I suspect contracted for 3 seasons, right?
Yeah. I
can kind of understand Lower Decks. I don't find that funny, but ratings for Lower Decks are pretty good, right? No, I know that Prodigy's got a 2nd season, so I'm happy with that. But they've got to do something with Metalis. They have got to do something, and they've got to announce it now. This at the end.
The downside is, and this is something that Midnight's Edge did get right, was if they want to go forward with Terry Metalis and Titan or anything like that, they still have to involve Secret Hideout because they're the guys they're the umbrella company that sit over the top and they own this. Now, here's the twist. Yeah. If they do renew it and they do give Terry Metalis the thing, as long as he gets to do as long as they say, just let him do his thing, Alex, yeah, you go off and you do you ruin something else over here, yeah. If that's the that's the general thing, and he has no creative control over it, it's only budgetary and production control over it, then it'll be fine. But yeah,
I have one slight suspicion. Because there has also been persistent rumors that it's very difficult to get rid of Kurtzman because he was signed till 2026 and they would have had to have paid him a lot of money. That actually it is cheaper to spend money on this bloody Star Trek Academy series or Starfleet Academy series that's been banging around for years. When that crashes and burns, which I suspect Paramount know that it will, they can fuck him off and bring on Metalis anyway. Yeah. That is potentially what they might be doing. They must know the goodwill that's out there at the moment and what this announcement has done. Are they really going to do a Star Wars and piss away all that goodwill that, you know, they had at the end of Mandalorian season 2? Regardless of what you might think, there was a certain amount of goodwill in the fan base for it. And they pissed that away. Kathleen Kennedy just took a fucking great big dump all over that. Why is she still got a job?
This is the thing I just want to throw out because I found an article here. The creator streaming Star Trek show will stay with CBS through 2026. Yeah. And that was on August 1st, 2021. Because I remember us talking about it. I don't know if we covered it on the podcast. We definitely talked about it because we were like, that's bollocks, isn't it?
But you see, I mean, it indicated that he was going off and doing all his own stuff. So it was, you know, it looked like they are. Look, there is too many persistent rumors to indicate that they are particularly happy with Kurtzman, right? There is a lot here. Look, he can take all the credit he wants. The only credit he gets, and everybody knows this, is the fact that he appointed Metalis in the first place. If Paramount knows what's good for them, they will wait to the end of Picard, and then they'll do what they did with the trailer for Picard season 3 at the end of Picard season 2. They will announce a Star Trek legacy series with legacy characters making comebacks. You know, look, all you have to do is stick Tim fucking Russ on the bridge of a freaking starship for 1 fucking minute, right? And you get more goodwill.
Do you know what the funny thing was? That was the same starship that Wassamish was sitting on.
I know, but I don't care. I know it was because they were budgetary reasons, but I don't care. Tuvok, not Tuvok.
He loves
spoiler. Tuvok, not Tuvok.
That actor loves Star Trek.
Yeah.
He really does.
Yeah.
If you see him interact with the fans and do like the fan projects and stuff, he genuinely loves it. And that's, you know, and my bitching about Star Trek back in the day, you know, I bitched about Star Trek back in the day because I'm that kind of guy. But it was still interesting, still worth watching. Yeah, it was just not. It was there's certain things about it where it wasn't. I described it as it didn't feel quite realistic, and then now I'm looking back at it and turn around and goes, that was kind of its UPS sort of thing, unique selling point. So USP, sorry, not UPS. But yeah, it was one of the things. Let's actually talk about the episode, shall we?
Well, I've got to say something, and I want to see your thoughts. Right, I've watched several reviews of this, and it's one of the rare times that I very much disagree with what Dave Cullen said, and sometimes he can be a little bit on the pretentious side. And Gary made almost a carbon copy video. The Popcast guys, I think, were far more. They were less spoilerific. And that's the thing. I am beginning to get annoyed by the fact they've all seen it and they keep dropping little things. But I don't think this episode was that bad. I mean, they were making out like it was a really bad episode. I actually thought it was a good episode. We found out a lot. We got quite a lot of character development with Vadik, which was kind of important. So
my first thing is that I don't know that some days when Amanda Plummer turns up on set, the director yells, "Just chew up the fucking scenery, darling. Do whatever you want." Yeah. And then other days they say, "Can you just tone it down a bit?" Yeah. It's a bit too much. I actually enjoy watching chew up the scenery. It's just fun. It's silly. Yes, I can understand if it takes you out. My preference is go on, chew the scenery. Let's enjoy ourselves. It was better than last week's, the previous week's one.
For me, obviously that episode was special because of the ships, and you know I'm a Starship guy.
Yeah.
But I thought I disagreed with Dave Cullen and Gary on this. I enjoyed this episode. I think I think the problem is, right, when you watch them all together, you don't appreciate the episodes the way because they haven't watched it like us. Their opinion is different. I watched this episode and thought, well, did we watch the same episode? I was kind of captivated throughout the whole of this episode. And in many ways, objectively, you're right. This was a better episode than last week. You are right. I'll give you that. Because it was exciting.
Yeah. Just the other part of it too is that if you're going to have the big build up towards the end and it's going to be like a two-parter, you have to slow it down before you get there. It was always one of those things when you had those 20 episodes or 26 episode TV series back in the 90s. Before you got to that big climax, you'd always have that one episode beforehand that slows everything down, makes you take a good look at the characters, and then goes, go. Yeah. And that's the one thing I think is I don't, because this is the streaming era, and I think the streaming era, this is more like television era, even though it is a streaming show, if that makes any sense. It has the television sort of structure-y bit to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's doing its mystery boxing, and Dave Cullen hates mystery boxes. But when mystery box is done right, Babylon 5, when it's done right, it's really good, and it's been done right. And I think a few of them aimed some unfair criticisms at this week's show, like picking apart things that actually, moments where what's her name? Cindy? Is it Cindy LaForge was running, and Sydney LaForge was running away, and the Changer could have shot her at any point. But you know what? I don't care. I forgive it those mistakes because it is genuinely fun and exciting.
Hang on, Keith, because I think I'll be honest with you. I think some of that is down to budgetary restrictions. I think it may be a case of if they would have had the money, there would have been a few missed shots there that you would have seen. It would have been a bit clearer. They probably would have been able to do it in more than 2 takes, sort of thing. I think that would have resolved that. But you can do your little fuck ups. Everyone has their little wobbles.
Yeah, but
everyone cocks up now and then. I'll forgive them that.
The thing is, right, we're finally getting really good Trek. It's been made by a guy that clearly loves it. he's bringing back all these amazing legacy characters we didn't know we missed until we see them again and go, Jesus. I love the fact that, you know, we get that. Okay, spoilers. If you've not watched this episode, put your fingers in your ears for a minute. Tuvok's, like, you know, cameo at the beginning was great. And when she does that question and he turns around and says, you know, as you know, I've beaten you, you've beaten me at Kowtow many times. And then you get that beautiful Voyager music in the background, and it was subtle, and you think, oh, it really is Tuvok. And then I Seven goes, you know, the mind meld thing. I went, hang on, didn't Tuvok do that in an episode? And then the thing drops, and you realize it's not Tuvok. But again, Matthias knows what he's doing, bringing these characters back. I still think we're going to get Janeway. The thing is, if it is a par Wraith, Gareth, because Gareth has this theory, right? And I think you're right. I think that Jack has either got a par Wraith in him, or he's got one of the wormhole alien good guys. The thing is, if they are going to do that, and you think it's Gul Dukat, if it is...
No, hang on a second. The one that Vadic's talking to is Gul Dukat.
Yes, so...
You think it's Cisco?
I think if they're going to do that, that you can't ignore Cisco, is what I'm saying. Whether we get Cisco or some kind of Cisco-style wormhole alien because the actor's a bit nuts. But I think if you're going to do the par race, you can't ignore Cisco. Now, here's the thing, right? We've got Jim Kirk on there. What if this fucking thing finishes with all the captains? Because if you're only going to get one chance, right, at this, and you've been told you're probably only going to get one chance, what do you think you do? You get all four of them on a fucking bridge if you can, right? We know that Kirk's now alive. We know, because they've done that. They dropped that little fucking thing in there that they kind of acknowledged William Shatner's books. So we know Kirk could possibly be alive. We know Janeway's alive. We know Picard's alive. All we need is Ben Sisko, four of them on the fucking bridge. Booyah. There's Star Trek gold right there. No, yeah, you could end it right there, and every Trekkie would be orgasming all over. It's not Kai Wynn. She's very dead. Although that would be cool. She was a bitch. She was a fucking...
I really didn't like Kai Wynn.
Because I hate... Exactly. And that's what you weren't meant to.
Arsehole.
Yeah, you were not meant to like her. That was the point. That was why she was so bloody good.
Yeah, hang on a second. No, he's made a good point.
Yeah, I know, and I don't get me wrong, but you can't do Archer. You can't have all five. You can't explain Archer being like 400, right? You can explain Kirk because they've already done it on screen, right? You can kind of bring Kirk back. The novels kind of bring him back, so you can just acknowledge William Shatner's novels as canon. So you can explain four of them. Unfortunately, you cannot explain Archer. It would be cool, don't get me wrong, but you can't explain it. So, but four of them is enough. Three of them is enough, to be honest. But they keep mentioning Janeway, so we got to get Janeway.
Yes.
Kira,
she will be in the last quarter of the last episode.
I think we're going to get some Janeway. I mean, we've got to. They've got to. But look, we've got 3 episodes left. I don't know what I'm going to do once this is ended. So you better fucking announce another one by Matthias, because this has really reignited my love of Trek. This has restored my faith. You know, this is like, what was it? You've restored my faith. Who said that? Wasn't that Kirk at the end of Star Trek Undiscovered Country? This is my Undiscovered Country moment, because this show has done that. And I never thought it possible.
I'm under the impression of I'm just going to enjoy it. It may sometimes a stopped clock is right twice a day, if that makes any sense.
If they do, look, I don't think they're going to do this, but if they somehow did it, if they somehow convinced William Shatner just to come back and have a cameo, even if it's for 1 second, right? If they somehow do that, and I would not put it past Matthias. I would not put it past him. I mean, they've been doing fan service throughout this, but they've been doing it the right way. I can see it, but if they're going to do the pile race, and I'm not, the red eyes, the mind controlling thing in this episode, I think you're right. I wasn't sure that when you posted this a week ago, but when I watched this episode, I go, oh fuck it, he's right. I'm gonna wear him another t-shirt. I know.
Do you know what it is? It's the fleshy would-be flaming head. It's been bugging the crap out of me since I saw it, and it's like kind of because it's her hand. Yeah, what would it look like if it wasn't their hand? And it would be a flaming head. And the only thing I know that has a flaming head in Star Trek is the Par Wraiths.
The only thing, right? The only thing that slightly dissuades that, and it's only slight because it could still be a Par Wraith, is the thing they mentioned about Picard's when Data says or Data Law. Clever title of the episode there. That is a little Easter egg. When Data Law says, previous diagnosis of Irreligion syndrome or whatever they call it, is in question, which clearly implies, okay, something else is going on with Picard, right? They're wrong about why they want the body. Are they going to go down the wormhole alien route with that? Because they did it with Cisco. Picard's never had a connection to that. That's my only thing. But again, it could be another red herring. So I don't know. It's the next 3 episodes are going to be interesting. I am loving it. I don't care that it's low budget. It has not.
It works better.
If you really look for it, yes, you can see it's low budget. But it hasn't felt low budget because the excitement has been there. The writing quality is there when he does things, and he knows he's a true Trekkie because he knows we're going to pick up on the fact that the changelings don't look like normal changelings, right? And he doesn't say anything for the first episode. He makes us speculate. Then he addresses it in the next episode. He addresses all these things that he knows Trekkies are going to pick up on, right? This guy is clearly a Trekkie. This guy clearly understands the real Trekkie mindset because he fucking addresses these things. And I like that. You like that. This is why he's a good writer and Kurtzman's a load of shit.
I really don't know how a person like that keeps a job.
I think because, right, here's the thing, right? Strange New Worlds was never Kurtzman's thing. It was Akiva Goldsman. And apparently, him and Alex Kurtzman don't get on because Akiva Goldsman basically used up one of Alex Kurtzman's show credits to make this, and it pissed off Alex Kurtzman. So he has nothing to do with Strange New Worlds, right? This is true. And I think what's going on here is I think it's cheaper to make a season of the Starfleet Academy than get rid of Kurtzman now. So they let him make his show. They let the fucking show flop like Discovery has done, right? And then they can fuck him off in 2026 and we can just get Metalis back. Because whilst Secret Hideout have a contract, from what I understand, they don't have all the rights. It's weird, right? Paramount kind of own the right. There's something weird going on here. The latest Mirror's Edge episode thing will fill you in on that. But Paramount can get rid of Secret Hideout. Secret Hideout are the production company. So they can get rid of them, but it would cost. Because as you found out that it's 2026, and it would probably cost more money to get rid of them than it would to make this series, which they can make on a relatively low budget, because it's not going to be on a starship. You might get the odd starship thing, and if they're going to film it in the Discovery thing, they've already got half the damn sets that they need. So I suspect that Discovery will get its season 5. We'll get this piece of crap straight after Discovery. It will feature Tilly. Because it's blatantly set in the same era as Discovery, and we'll go from there. It'll be a pile of shit. Nobody will watch it, and everybody will be like, "Where's Terry Mathias? Bring him back, please. Can we have proper Star Trek?"
Hopefully. Hopefully.
But I loved this episode. I'm sorry. I think the people are wrong. I think you've been because you binged it. I can see why you think episode 7 it slowed down the action for you because you've binged it. But for people that are watching it on a weekly basis, and the podcast guys get this, I like those guys now. I never really watched them until Picard, but I like them because they really are very careful on the spoilers that they drop. They don't drop any like Gary does. And in fairness to Gary, he doesn't drop as many as Dave does, but he bloody drops a few. Don't tell me you didn't enjoy this episode last week. tell me that after it's aired. Don't tell me it before, because I was expecting this to be shit. I'm watching this episode going, oh, did we watch the same episode?
Yeah.
I loved it.
What got me was the less fucking data/lore plugged in to the ship. What the dumbass? That was the dumbest thing.
Geordie. It's
not
not
proper
first
Geordie.
time now, is it? It's well.
He's not proper
I think
Geordie.
there is. He's an older Geordie. He's father.
No.
Geordie.
When I say proper Geordie, I mean from Newcastle.
Oh.
It's like, wait, hey man, let's get damn pudding.
Wait, hey man,
put my crocodile shoes on, like. Doesn't everything's a simile with him. That's why it was a joke. Oh, he said about Geordie was he's not a proper Geordie. So yeah, that kind of, I don't know, but part of me is like, is it a plan within a plan sort of thing? Yeah, because when Picard and Crusher, they looked like they were acting. The characters looked like they were acting when they were sitting there going, "Oh, we need to kill her. There's no. We've invited Keller onto the ship. We need to make sure she's dead." The way it's like saying it over her shoulder so that it can clearly hear what's going on. And then it's like she escapes and they're like shooting. It's like, oh no, we're not quite hitting her. Oh no. Also, I'd just like to point out that there are two distinct phaser types going around. There's the one that Jack Crusher has, which looks like the old school Star Trek phaser that vaporizes them. And then the new ones that seem to poke holes in them. The new ones don't work. The old one does. Yeah, just because it was bugging the shit out of me. So I went back and rewatched it and using my weirdly
powers of deduction.
Powers of deduction. Well, it's the powers of observation was like kind of, why is that one exploding into? And then I looked and went, different phaser. Yeah, and that's why. So that answers one question, and I bet you that probably it might come up and bring that up and things like that. They still haven't explained the transporters, because even Vadik doesn't want to use the transporters.
I think we're going to get an explanation for that. Interestingly, I think Vadik is not going to survive the next episode, or if she does, I think she's only going to brief the thing, because again, Dave McCullen said, "Oh, she's not the main bad guy." It's like, well, we kind of know that, but you didn't have to say it. But
we
I
know that because it's a giant floating head.
Yeah, but I think that again, because he said you should watch episode 7 and 8 together. Dave, shut up. I think Vadik will get it at the end of this episode, and then we're going to get the reveal of who the big bad is. Maybe.
Golda Kart as Par Race.
It would be awesome.
Right,
I'm not sure.
Given the way the changelings are, yeah, they're not going to serve anyone who is, how can I describe it, solid. Par Race are gaseous, so they're one above liquid. So on the pecking order,
I think. Look, I think your theory is by far the biggest theory, and other people have started saying it this week on the videos, and I don't think you're wrong. The only thing I think, it could be a double thing, that it's those the conspiracy creatures from that early episode of Next Gen. And Metalis has said he loved that episode. Now that he said he didn't do it, but that could be an intentional red herring. So I think it's either going to be the wormhole aliens Par Race, or it could be the conspiracy bugs. But
it's my mind's on the Par Race because it fits the red eyes.
You're right. Yes,
it's the red eyes.
You're right. I think you're right. But we still got to get a reveal of who's behind the red door. Come home, Jack. Who's that? And it's a female voice. So, is it Cisco's mum? Because Cisco's mum was a wormhole alien. So, are we going to get that? That could be interesting.
Whenever we say wormhole alien, I always think bumhole alien. Don't know why. Ever since I watched fucking Deep Space Nine.
TP for your bumhole.
Yes. So that was pretty good. There was, what was the thing? So I think they're going to use the Shrike, and it's going to have either one of two things. It's either going to do a SG-1 where it uses the portal gun and connects it to either a star or a black hole, and fucks them up, or it's going to have another weapon on there which we don't know about, and it will cause a dimensional strike, and the dimensional strike will just cause everything to get flattened in a certain area. So that'll be interesting. The reason I think that is because that's going to be the new cool weapon instead of your death rays that you get will be the dimensional strike one, because you've got the 3 body problem coming out, and
it could be interesting. It could be something. There's a lot of answers still to be had, but I suspect that he's going to answer most of them. Maybe he'll let 1 or 2 go unanswered to have a continue on if we get it. Either way, look, this season has given us more of anything that we ever dreamed of possible. So look, I love this. Paramount, guys, if you're watching this or listening to this on the podcast, go to terrytrek.com, sign that petition. We need to tell Paramount that they should be making more Trek like this. Everybody, if you're a true Trekkie, go and sign this damn petition, because Paramount should not be making Starfleet Academy. They should be making Star Trek Legacy. Now, they might, as I think, be making it because they want to fuck off Kurtzman. But look, I don't understand it. But then look, I mean, the rumor is now that Indy 5 has got to make $1 billion, and if it doesn't, bye-bye Captain Kennedy. But I've heard that so many times, I'm not sure I believe it. So, again, it wouldn't surprise me that Kurtzman's still there. The only thing I can think of is that they got stuff on people in Hollywood, and that's how they keep their jobs. And that wouldn't surprise me, because they're all fucking assholes in Hollywood anyway.
Look, when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy, it's like she must be really good at sucking dick. And I've realised that Alex Kurtzman might be the same.
Well, yes, that wouldn't surprise me either. That would not surprise me.
All right, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about Severance.
Yeah, okay. I didn't really watch this at the time because the trailer didn't really do anything for me. I'm glad you made me watch this. This is really interesting. This is yeah. Let's explain. Whatever I was going. Yeah, explain it.
Let's explain it first. So the idea of Severance is it's about a group of office workers, and what they've managed to do is they've managed to separate out their work life from their personal life to the point that they have no memory of work, what goes on at work, and they have no memory, and those ones at work have no memory of their home life. So there's a complete partition between the 2 personalities. And it starts off, this one person gets brought into the office. She wakes up on a coffee table that looks a bit coffin-like. She's asked a load of questions. Most important one, who are you? And then it goes through a load of things where she tries to escape, she tries to kill herself, etc., etc. And you get to see both sides. So you get to see the outie selves and their innie selves, which is the outie selves is like them in the world, and their innie selves are those at work. And it's quite interesting because you've got the main character, and he's done it on purpose because he's running away from the trauma of his wife dying, or so he thinks. And then you've got the woman in there who has a great twist at the end. How far have you got to it?
I know her twist.
You know Helly's twist?
Yes.
Oh, Helly's twist is great, because I watched that and I went, that explains a lot now, because you got this woman who's newly joins their group, and they're called macro data refinement. Is their job, and this woman doesn't want innie does not want to be there, but her outie will not let her leave. Yeah, she's trying to write notes to her and everything, and the system says no, you can't write notes. Blah blah blah. I think that's the system's bollocks. I think it's not the system. I think it's the chip in their head that says that they've got something on them that's dodgy, shall we say. And that does the finding. If you put a note on there that they don't know about, I think it can come out. But that'll be for season 2. But the question is what are they doing in this office? Yeah, that is so secret that they're not allowed to know about it on the outside world. And then go on.
It's very weird. The black dude that sort of plays their minder, he is brilliant.
Oh, he's slightly camp and slightly menacing.
Yes, and it's in equal balance, which makes it actually more menacing. I genuinely think his character is brilliant. It's brilliantly acted, and it's brilliantly, very well portrayed, because I find him deeply uncomfortable, but you're meant to, and it's done in such a subtle way. I think he's genuine. I like all the characters are really interesting, and the fact that we've got what's his face turned up in the fourth episode. That I didn't see him, being cast in it, and that was great. Wearing a blue coat just like he did in Click as well, when he kind of played the devil. And I'm damn sure that's on purpose.
Milchick, the guy's name's Milchick. That was his name, so I had to go and look it up.
But I think it's brilliantly cast. There's something not right about each of the characters, and the fact that you've got the Asian chick from Neighbours in there playing this very weird, I will give you a hug on request thing. That again is just off the wall. And the fact is, it's set in the modern world, yet they're using old tech down there. That's on purpose. Why? I've got so many questions. I'm glad it's getting a second season, because I know there are many questions at the end of the season.
You know who she is, don't you?
Who she is?
No, you know who she is, don't you?
She's the heir to the company, isn't she, Lumen?
No, not the get a hug up on request lady.
Yeah, no. Who is she?
She's Matey's wife.
So she's not dead.
She's Matey's wife, and when you find out at the end, when he pulls the picture out, there's a picture of his wife, and he looks at him, and then looks at her, and then it's like, oh my god, and I'm like, oh my god, and he's about to be disconnected, and he's just like, kind of, because you've got these innies ones managed to get outside, and he's just about to go, my wife is alive, and then it's boom. And I'm so desperate to see what the fallout is for that. Now, I think I know what it's about. I don't think it's not a heaven and hell supernatural sort of thing, even though it has a lot of vibes.
I didn't know if they were doing some kind of like Lost style stuck in limbo thing. No, I think it's happening in the real world.
Yeah, what it is I think it's an allegory about people who work in offices for big corporations who do horrible things, and it's how do you separate yourself out from those big horrible things.
But what is Lumen up to? That's the question. What are they up to? There's a lot still going on there. I hope they don't drag it on so much, and I hope they have an end game.
Yes,
I don't want this to turn into a Lost. That's my only thing. Although Apple TV, I think they've got an end game. So, no, but thank you. It was a good recommendation.
Keep watching. There's still more stuff in there. There's still loads of stuff in there.
No, it's genuinely been quite good. I'm enjoying that. Apple TV's got some good stuff on it. Yeah, it has. Better now than it used to be, but it's got some good stuff. Severance is good, of course. Ted Lasso, which I'm just really enjoying, especially the last episode. That was quite funny. But no, I'm enjoying Severance. I want to know what the numbers are. I want to know what all the numbers are, and that's weird. And
I think they're people.
You could be right. And Matey Boy
sorting and putting people in boxes. Go on.
Yeah, and Matey Boy seeing all the goo. I don't get that.
That makes sense in the last episode.
Okay, all right. Okay,
that one gets explained.
Spoil it.
I won't spoil that bit,
we'll get the goo stuff.
You'll get an answer to the goo.
But and the boss lady, she's suitably freaky as well.
See, because part of me thinks. See, part of me thinks it's to do with healthcare. Because if you watch it, she goes back to her house, and in her house she's got looks like a respirator or something with her mother's name on it. So I'm thinking that maybe she's joined the company because she wants revenge, and she's trying to work her way through the corporate ladder until she gets to the point where she do the most amount of damage.
That could make sense. That could make sense.
Because think about it. Because the best example is when she's there. She makes a speech to the main character, which I can't bloody remember his name. The main character, who's played by a guy with a haircut I don't like, Mark C. That's his name.
Yeah.
Mark C or Mark S. It was Mark S. Sorry. So Mark S. And she says to him, goes, "Oh, my mother was an atheist, and she said this, blah blah blah." And then she sees him in the real world, and she says, "My mother was a Catholic, and she said this." Like, she's two opposite people, and she's not severed. Yeah. So she's there. She's like company man, as we always used to use the term at work, and then she's anti-company man when she's outie. So I think that there's a lot more to her character than me. So it's interesting. There's lots of stuff there.
I think you're right. I think I'm glad it's getting a second season. That's all I'll say. So that's one of the reasons I started watching it, because I know that it's going to continue. It's not one of these one and done jobs. So that'll be good. So I'm glad we're getting a second season of it, and it was a good recommendation. Thank you. Let's talk about the other thing on Apple TV, because I fucking loved it.
Right, so
I
you
really
didn't know.
enjoyed it.
Right, so the first things first, you didn't know the story about Tetris.
No.
Okay, all right. So I knew the story about Tetris, and there was a lady at work called Jane, and she got to see it at a local cinema for free because it was an Apple promotional thing. So they leased out a screen, and it's like, get free tickets to see the Tetris film. And they were like, okay, cool. And she did that, and she said, you need to watch it, you'll like it. And I went, does it have Robert Maxwell in it? It went, yes. Robert Maxwell's played by Roger Allam, is it?
Yeah.
I love Roger Allam. He's got a great voice.
Yeah. He has.
And it's not a high budget movie by any stretch.
No.
But it's a really good film. It's really entertaining. It's the story. It's weird because it's the story. It's the story of copyright and how does copyright work in the Soviet Union, and who has rights to it, and do you read all the small print, and then there's Robert Maxwell with these dodgy business dealings. So it starts off. You've got matey Taron Egerton.
Brilliant.
And he's at the CES, because we talked about E3 dying, the CES Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas, and he's trying to sell his game, and it's not working. And he sees Tetris, and he's like, "I want to buy the rights to this. I bought the rights to this, signed the contract, got the bits in Japan, and this, that, and the other." And then he goes because he wants to buy because he does that, and then he gets into trouble because apparently the rights to the arcade games don't belong to him, so forth and so on. And it starts causing merry havoc across the board because the Mirasoft Group, who's run and owned by media mogul at the time, Robert Maxwell, rather plump individual in his stupid son. They really shat on his son in this one.
They did, but
I know he was an arsehole.
He was an arsehole, but that. I mean, I read about some of the things in the movie that are real and not real, but where the lawyer comes in and bitch slaps him, that happened. That was great. That was a great scene.
Yes.
Toby Jones must have had a good laugh filming that scene. Toby Jones is tiny, and he fucking proper bitch slapped him.
I do like watching Toby Jones. He's a good actor. Just make you pay attention.
But no, go on. Sorry, you were telling the story. I knew none of this.
You knew none of this.
The Maxwells. I had no idea.
So he bought the rights. He thought he bought the rights, but Robert Maxwell owned the rights, and he was friends with Gorbachev at the time. Yeah. So he's trying to get the rights for this guy's trying to get the rights for Nintendo. This guy's got the rights for the computer things. Everything's getting messed up. The long and short of it is there's, if I remember correctly, there's lots of arguments and stuff over it, and then Robert Maxwell buggers off with the pension fund, which is referenced in the first episode of the second season of IT Crowd, the window one where he jumps out the window, goes to there's a policeman here about the irregularities in the pension fund. He goes, make them a cup of tea, and he just opens up the window and jumps straight out. But they reckon in the documentary I watched, they reckon that the Russians had him bumped off because of this. He ran off because he was scared of them, so he took the pension fund, ran off with the pension fund to try and escape them, and then boom. Hang on a second.
Surprise
Hello.
Me. Hello. It wouldn't surprise me.
But the to and froing as they were trying to get the rights to Tetris and that, and him going backwards and forward to Russia to do it. Yeah, and then the other one was the fact that Tetris was causing production to halt in Russia because everyone was playing the game, which was brilliant. But I'll let you go into the film, because the film kind of dramatizes a lot of this.
Oh yeah, I mean the car chase at the end never happened.
Yeah, I know. That was the thing that got me, because I watched it to the car chase bit and I'm like, I didn't fucking.
No, but I mean, like the bit where at the end where the guy that really did, invent it, he was helped to get out of Russia, and he was helped to come live in the US, and he did end up owning 50% of what is now the Tetris company. What's his face's daughter did take over the company, Maya. She now runs the company. But it was a feel good film. There was nothing particularly woke about it. It was well acted. It was an interesting story. I thought what's his face as Robert Maxwell under all that makeup was great. Yeah, they kind of amped up the son being a bit of a dick, but he was a bit of a dick. But and we had the Russians as the dodgy Russian politician. But I like the way they portrayed Gorbachev. I like the way that they portrayed some of the characters. The fact that the KGB spy who was real, who was the interpreter, who you think is like this sassy woman, who then you find out it's a KGB thing, but in the end she kind of redeems herself. And I like that the movie didn't finish on them getting the rights to Tetris. It finished on the Russian guy coming and going, "It's now some time for that American emotion," and they hug. And that's how the movie ends. I thought that was great. And I love the fact that they couldn't really afford the effects to do the car chase all the way through. So they kept replacing the car with like an 8-bit freaking car as it's going around, right? And it was blatantly to mask up dodgy effects, right? But again, it worked. It worked. And I loved it. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was I saw the trailer and I thought I'll give it a go because this sounds interesting. I do not know the story of Tetris, so I thought this is interesting. I love Tetris. It's still one of my favorite games. And I thought the film was great. I thought the film was just a really good, low budget, feel good film. And if you're if you want to learn a bit about history, yes, it's dramatized, but if you want to learn a bit about history and you want a feel good film, this is really good. It was a good film. I really enjoyed it, and that's what it's meant to do. And that's all I can really say. I think Taron Egerton is a great actor, and I enjoyed him in this. I think he is actually a very understated actor. I mean, for fuck's sake, he played Eddie Eagle, and I do not see Eddie Eagle, and yet here he is. I see Taron Egerton's face, but again, he's totally different character, and I loved it. I loved the film. I thought it was great, really good.
Yeah, me too. I did enjoyed the hell out of it. It was a good watch.
It put a smile on my face, and at the ending, I had a smile on my face, and I was really smiling and like, going, oh, it was really good. And it's been a while since I've seen a film like that. In fact, it's probably Top Gun was the last film that really put a smile on my face like that. Top Gun's for slightly different reasons, but this was a feel good, great little film. And I highly recommend it. And it taught me a few things I did not know about that. I expect you know about it, but you're more into the sort of history of computer game stuff. But no, it was good. Really enjoyed it. Really good.
Oh, good. All right. Well, it looks like we've come to a natural close there. So while we're at it, just like to thank everyone in the chat who's been chatting away. I'm sorry I'm not paying too much attention. I've not got my normal setup, so it's a little difficult because I keep switching off the chat window. So, Bilfer, thank you very much. Thank you for the email. I completely disagree with you, but politely and respectfully. Chuck, it's always good to see you, Chuck. I don't know if you've got new video. You usually pop in when you've got new video coming out in the next today.
Or so actually it'll probably be about 3:45 in my morning, so 9:45 in the evening in the UK.
Okay, so Chuck's got a video, so pop over to Covaction to watch Chuck's latest video. I don't know where it is or what it is, but I know he always shows up because he's got like a new video and whatnot.
He's local, Gareth. He's rather local. In fact, he's back in Windsor again.
He's back in Windsor again.
He's local.
He's local. Also, I'd like to thank Steve Knowles for dropping in the chat. Sorry if you didn't acknowledge you, man. Just as I said, different setup normally, so I haven't got like my two screens up and running where I can check the chat in one and what's going on in the other. Nice to see you, Laurie. Thank you. So, just on another note, if you want to see the small ginger one or the small rouge one, you can find him and myself and Babster on Gaming Face Punch. So if you type in Gaming Face Punch and go there, you'll find us talking about video game bits that Nigel loves and stuff. And you'll find lots of clips from our show. You can also download the podcast from the same channel that you can download. So the same feed that you can download the podcast for this one on, and you can see us up there. So if you want to catch up and see Nigel's handsome, devilishly ginger face again, you can go there. So we've got that there, and I don't know if Keith went away. I don't know if you made a video.
Not yet. I've been unfortunately stupidly busy with work. I have got some stuff that I might try and put together, but I've been sort of busy. I mean, I've got this new streaming sort of thing set up now. This was a lot more work than it should have been. But I hope you like the new background. Pretty cool. I have to answer one of Chuck's comments about putting the K spot up there. It is loaded, funny enough, on the TV. But as we are this is a Monkey Nut Punch podcast, I thought actually it'd be better just to play the Netflix trailers in the background. It works. So and you wouldn't. I tell you one thing, right? You need to be impressed. You see this lighting effect.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking to me. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Programmed by me. It doesn't do that out of the box. So I'm pretty impressed with myself. Because it goes really fast usually, and I needed to make it subtle, so it looks good. So it was a lot more difficult than I think, but I like this new setup. It takes me 2 minutes.
I was going to say, I've been, when it comes to programming anything recently, I've just been cheating and using ChatGPT.
Yeah, ChatGPT did not help me with this, and I did go to it, but it did not help me with this. This is Govi stuff, and the app is actually quite impressive, but it's a bit of a pain. And in answer to Laurie, Chuck put a video out a few months ago about the Van Gogh sort of light show thing where they project all this stuff onto Van Gogh's artwork onto walls and stuff, and it's just come to Thailand. I'm booking tickets. In answer to your question, we are going. We've just got to find somebody to just look after the dogs for the day, but we are going. And yes, Chuck is a very, very local. Goes into a shop for local people, selling local produce to local people.
On a quick note, I just throw this up. I went to Dobby's grave. So if you're a big Harry Potter watcher, Dobby was buried in Wales. So we went and saw Dobby's grave, and I did that at Dobby's grave because I thought it was funny. You can see my son's massively impressed with me.
Yeah. It's like, oh God, Dad. Oh God, Dad, stop embarrassing me, Dad. But you can see that. Anyway, next week we'll probably have more to talk about. Maybe I'll convince Gareth to watch an episode of The Mandalorian, but I can't really because it is a bit shit. But go and watch the Zeb bit. If
I'll find a clip on YouTube.
Yeah, watch the Zeb bit because the Zeb bit, they actually did a really good job with Zeb. I swear to God, they spent their entire freaking special effects budget on him. So, and it was worth it. It was cool seeing Zeb. But anywho, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
And I'll see you next week too. Bye-bye.